Okay, close your eyes for a second. Imagine just one single note, right? Hanging there. Now picture it echoing, repeating. Then maybe it suddenly reverses,
Okay.
And it starts layering on itself. The pitch shifts in weird ways.
Right.
And suddenly you've got this whole sonic landscape.
Wow, yeah.
All from that one sound.
Right.
Or, like, picture a musician on stage creating this complex, evolving thing in real time just by stepping on a pedal.
That's a powerful image.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Today we're diving into a really fascinating piece of music tech history, the Electro Harmonix 16-second digital delay. This thing wasn't just, another effects pedal. It was properly groundbreaking, a pioneer, really, that changed how musicians thought about time, about loops, and live performance itself.
It's wild, isn't it? We're looking at something from, what, over 40 years ago?
Yeah.
And it still massively shapes how sound is made today. So our mission here for this deep dive is to explore its history, really break down the innovative features.
Dig into the nuts and bolts.
Exactly, and understand its legacy, why it's seen as such a game changer in audio manipulation. We're leaning on a great article here that details its history and what it could do.
So whether you're a musician, maybe a tech head, curious about where modern gear came from.
Or just love a good innovation story.
Right. You'll discover how one box, basically, could spark this whole creative movement.
Yeah.
You might even get genuinely inspired by the thinking behind it, the ingenuity.
Definitely.
Okay, let's set the scene. Early 80s. Music's changing fast, but looping like we know it now, it's not really a thing for most people, right? Especially not in a little box.
Not at all. You had reel-to-reel tape machines, which were bulky, fiddly, or maybe super expensive rack gear in studios. But putting that power into something small, affordable, that was the dream.
So what was so revolutionary about this pedal when it landed in 1982?
Well, you hit it right there. It was one of the very first delay pedals to combine really long delay times. We're talking up to 16 seconds, which was huge then.
16 seconds.
Huge. And actual looping capabilities all packed into a tough little stomp box.
Right on your pedal board.
Exactly. Before this, anything similar cost a fortune and needed its own space. This thing it blew the doors open for pedal-based looping. It basically invented that whole category of introductory loopers.
It feels like a massive leap, truly, bringing that studio power down to foot level.
It was.
But tech like this doesn't just appear. Who was the mind behind it? The person who pushed those boundaries?
That would be David Cockerell, a real genius.
Okay.
He wasn't new to this game either. He was already a well-known synth designer from his work with EMS.
EMS synths, right, like the VCS3.
The very same. Groundbreaking stuff. He joined Electro Harmonix, EHX, in the early 80s, and his deep knowledge of digital audio was absolutely key to making this happen. He saw possibilities others didn't.
So Cockerell delivers this game changer in 82. But tech moves fast, right? Did it just become a cool relic, or did it evolve? What was its later life like?
Oh, far from a relic. The core idea was so strong that EHX actually did a reissue in the 2000s.
Okay.
And this wasn't just like a nostalgia trip. It was a serious update. They boosted its capabilities quite a bit.
But kept the vibe.
Crucially, yes. They kept that original character, the charm, but made it more reliable, more versatile for modern players. It really proved how solid and creatively potent the original design was. It deserved that second life. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, you see how some inventions aren't just small steps. They're leaps. They don't just add a feature. They open up whole new ways for artists to think, to create, inspiring stuff that wasn't even possible before.
All right, so it was Pioneer, got a second life.
Yeah.
But let's dig into what this magic box could actually do. It sounds like way more than just echo or a simple loop.
Yeah.
Those capabilities.
Yeah, let's get into that. The original offered up to 16 seconds of delay time, which for 1982 and a pedal, unheard of. Massive creative space.
It's huge for the time.
But then the reissue, they blew it out to a full 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah, 240 seconds. And at a higher sampling rate, too, 15 kilohertz.
So better sound quality for those longer loops.
Exactly. Clearer, more detail compared to the original's sort of grittier, lower five vibe. Made it much more viable for proper recording and performance.
Okay, but beyond just the length, you mentioned control.
Right. It had these coarse and fine sliders. They were key for setting your loop length precisely. But here's the really wild part. You could mess with those sliders during playback.
Live,
and it would create these amazing real-time pitch shifts. So your loop wasn't static. It could morph, change key, create harmonies on the fly.
Whoa. So you could take a guitar riff and suddenly make it jump octaves.
Totally. Turn a background part into a lead just by nudging a slider. The pedal itself became this interactive instrument.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but maybe a bit unpredictable? Was it easy to handle?
Good question. It definitely had a unique feel, a learning curve. It wasn't necessarily about clinical precision. For instance, it had a slow-fast switch. This let you trade loop length for sound quality. Longer time meant lower fidelity.
Ah, trade-off.
Yeah. But changing speeds while a loop was playing, that could trigger these unexpected octave jumps, weird harmonics, sometimes brilliant, sometimes chaotic.
So it encouraged experimentation, happy accidents.
Exactly. And unlike modern loopers that often want perfect timing, quantize starts and stops.
Right.
The 16-second had this always listening vibe. You weren't locking to a grid, you were capturing a moment, letting it breathe and evolve. That itself was a creative thing.
And it could do reverse playback, too.
Yeah, run loops backward for those really strange, ethereal textures, and full overdubbing, of course. Layering sound on sound, building things up live.
That's a serious toolkit for composing and performing right there. But, loops are great until the power goes out. Did it remember stuff?
Ah, yes. This was a really practical upgrade, especially in the reissue.
Okay.
It had true non-volatile memory. EHX called it magna storage.
Magna storage, right.
Meaning your loops stayed put even if you powered down, which was huge. The original had that little warning, may not store after power off.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's risky.
So the reissue fixed a major headache for working musicians. You wouldn't lose your brilliant idea just because you kicked the plug.
Makes sense. Now, beyond all this looping stuff, could it just act like a normal delay pedal too? Or was it all about the loops?
No, it was versatile. It had a dedicated short delay mode that worked more like a standard echo, up to about a second of delay.
Okay, like a regular echo.
Yeah, but even in that mode, you could still record short freezes, loop-like. So it kind of bridged the gap, standard delay, performance tool, full-on looper, really flexible.
It wasn't just raw delay and loops then?
Oh.
Any other tricks up its sleeve?
Oh, yeah. It had some neat rhythmic and creative tools built in. There was a dedicated clicks metronome output.
A click track out?
Yeah, a separate jack just for an audible click. Super helpful for timing your loops live. Plus blinking LEDs for visual tempo feedback.
Nice little extras.
And it had a sweep effect, kind of like a flanger or chorus.
Right, texture.
Exactly. Add some movement, some swirl to the sound. And control-wise, you had the 3 main foot switches: record, play, bypass. Robust things. Plus, you could get an optional foot controller.
For remote control.
Yeah, to trigger sweep, reverse, feedback, and those octave shifts, hands-free. More performance power.
Man, imagine being a guitarist or keyboard player in the 80s and getting your hands on this. It wasn't just an effect. It was like a creative partner, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
It just opened up a whole world of possibilities for playing live, for writing, spontaneous sound creation.
Totally changed the game for many artists.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. A pedal this groundbreaking. What was its actual impact? How did this quirky box reshape music, tech, stuff we might still feel today?
The impact was massive, no exaggeration. The 16-second digital delay is pretty much universally seen as a foundational piece in looping history.
Foundation.
It directly predates and influenced basically all the modern loopers and phrase samplers we use now. From simple pedals to complex workstations, you can draw a straight line from Cockerell's innovation to today's gear. It set that initial standard.
Wow.
But it wasn't just the tech specs. It was also loved for its creative unpredictability, that always listening thing we talked about.
Yeah.
It encouraged spontaneity over rigid, perfect timing. It wasn't about hitting the mark exactly. It was about capturing a feeling, embracing accidents, letting sounds evolve organically.
It fostered a different kind of creativity.
Absolutely. It pushed artists to improvise, to discover things they wouldn't have planned. It kind of celebrated the beautiful imperfections.
That always listening idea is really compelling. It almost demands improvisation, doesn't it?
Really does.
Were there specific artists, famous ones maybe, who really leaned into that, made it part of their signature sound?
Oh, definitely. Especially in the more experimental scenes, guitarists like Nels Cline from Wilco and the incredible Bill Frisell, they truly got it.
Yeah.
They used it not just for a bit of echo, but as a core part of their setup, building complex ambient textures, background washes, pushing sounds in really innovative ways.
They weren't afraid of his squirks.
They embraced them, made the unpredictability a feature, part of the magic.
So with this kind of legacy, this following, Is it still a sought-after thing? Are people hunting down these old units?
Oh, absolutely. Highly sought after, the original 80s ones. They're serious collector's items now, command really high prices.
Wow.
But the reissue is still highly valued too. You get that vintage character, but with modern reliability and the extra features. And what's really cool,
Go on.
people modify them,
Yeah.
especially the originals. Adding extra switches for stutter effects, re-triggering, different ways to control reverse,
Yeah.
turning them into unique, personalized instruments.
That's amazing. People are still hacking it today.
It shows how inspiring the core device is, right? That it encourages that level of engagement, personalization.
Yeah.
It makes you think, what makes tech truly legendary? It's often not just the spec sheet, but how it sparks creativity, how users make it their own, go beyond what the designers even imagined.
That's a great point. It fosters a whole culture around it. Okay, so we have the original and we have the reissue. For anyone curious, or maybe even looking to find one, what exactly changed between them? Let's unpack the key differences.
Yeah, it's a really good comparison. Shows how you can update a classic thoughtfully. The biggest, most obvious one, max delay time.
Right.
Original, 1982, around 16 seconds. Reissue, 2000s, up to 4 minutes, 240 seconds.
That's a massive jump.
Monumental jump in creative potential right there. Then, sampling resolution.
The sound quality.
Exactly. Original was lower 5, vintage digital, charming, but limited. The reissue went to 16-bit, much higher fidelity, cleaner, more detail. Important for those long loops and studio use.
Makes sense. And the memory. Magna storage.
Crucial difference. Original might lose your loop if powered off. The reissue. Rock solid Magna storage. Loops preserved when you switch it off. Huge practical improvement.
Yeah, that's a big one. What about the controls, the sliders and buttons?
Both had that iconic hands-on feel with the sliders and buttons. But the reissue, besides being more reliable, importantly added MIDI compatibility and tempo format support.
Ah, so it could sync better with modern gear.
Precisely. Better integration. And the other creative tools, reverse, sweep, the Clidelix output, they were in both. But again, the reissue just made them more reliable, improved the interfaces. It was a proper upgrade, honoring the original but bringing it firmly into the modern era.
It really sounds like a masterclass in updating a classic. You keep the soul, the core idea.
Right.
But enhance it where it counts for today's musicians. It really speaks to good design, both back then and in the reissue, making it relevant again.
Totally agree.
So, wrapping this up. What's the big takeaway here? The Electro Harmonix 16-second digital delay, original or reissue, it clearly stands as this groundbreaking, legendary pedal, right? A real turning point.
No doubt. Its unique mix, that super long delay, the looping, the real-time pitch shifting, and maybe most importantly, that expressive randomness it encouraged. It carved out a whole new space for what loopers could be.
It showed that a stomp box wasn't just an effect.
Exactly. It could be a compositional tool, an active, creative partner, not just something passive you turn on or off.
It really is more than just gear, isn't it? It's like a testament to thoughtful design and how sometimes limitations can actually spark new kinds of creativity, that always-on improvisational approach.
Yeah, it reminds us that innovation isn't always about adding more features, but sometimes about rethinking the interaction itself. So here's something to think about. How might that always listening idea, rather than demanding perfect pre-planned sequences, how might that unlock a different kind of spontaneity in your own creative work, whatever medium you use?
That's interesting.
What happy accidents, what unexpected ideas might pop up if you just let the moment unfold, capture things as they happen, rather than trying to control every single step?